Welcome to all the viewers. Friends, in this video, I am going to show you how you can easily do moderated mediation. That's the first stage moderated mediation using categorical variable, having three groups. Earlier, I have made a video on Jamovi wherein I have shown how to use a continuous moderator. If you would like to go back and check on that video, you can go back. And one thing special about this video is that although Jamovi is not able to give you index of moderated mediation, which is very much required to assess the effect of moderator on the indirect mediation effect in the model, its bootstrapped significance has to be checked. So how can we get index of moderated mediation easily in our software along with the bootstrap confidence interval so that we can assess the significance of this moderated mediation? So let us start. Here we are in our Jamovi software. First, let us import the data. It's the same data file which I have been showing you in all my Jamovi videos. Customer satisfaction CSV 305 datasheet for FDP. I load this datasheet and here I have occupation with three categories, three groups. One is stands for private job individuals, two stands for government job individuals, and three stands for entrepreneurs, own business, right? So there are three categories of occupation. So we are going to see how we can use this occupation as a moderator in moderated mediation. Stage 1 model, that is Hayes process macro model number 7. In this moderator will be acting as a categorical moderator and we'll see how it affects the indirect effect in the mediation between food quality and customer satisfaction, where the mediator happens to be service quality. So have the composite scores of all these observed indicators. These composite scores you can take from the measurement model assessment after the measurement model assessment done in IBM SPSS AMOS or Smart PLS also. Or you can even take this as an arithmetic mean of the observed indicators. All the indicators in this data sheet have been marked upon Likert 5-point scale, and this is the arithmetic mean which I am showing you for demo purposes. So this is the composite score which we will be using for putting into our moderated mediation model. So go to MedMod, go to GLM mediation model, because we are not just doing a simple mediation, not just doing a simple moderation, we are doing moderated mediation. We have to go in for GLM mediation model. Here we put in the composite scores. So what all composite scores we have to put? First, the dependent, that is customer satisfaction, CS. Then the mediator, that is service quality. And then the factor. Factor stands for categorical variable. So in this case, we are taking moderator as a categorical variable, which is occupation, right? Having three categories. So occupation I take in factors, and continuous independent variable, that is food quality. So I take food quality, composite of food quality as covariate, since it is a continuous variable. Now I got a conceptual diagram something like this on the right side of Jamovi interface. But this is not what I want. How to adjust it so that I can see a moderated mediation first stage model. So I go to moderator first, and in moderator I want to put occupation as a moderator. Here I inserted it as a moderator. Now again, this occupation is affecting all the three paths in this model. But I just want to see the first stage. That is, occupation should affect food quality to service quality. The path lies over here and occupation should be moderating this path. So how can I do that? I go to full model, and in full model I have to remove these interaction effects. Just remove them and you'll see the difference. Now you see, just remove occupation multiplied by service quality as well. Remove this interaction effect. Now you have the model which you want to analyze, right? So this is the model which we want to analyze. First stage moderated mediation using a categorical variable, that is occupation, having three categories. Now some people ask that whether we want to run the model two times because we are taking one category as a reference over here. No need to run it two times. We are just going to run the model once, taking one of the categories, that is the first category, as a reference category. So first category, first group is the reference category, and second and third will be compared against the first category. Then I go to covariate scaling. Nothing has to be done. It has to be centered. I have told in previous video that mean centering is prescribed to be done in case of independent variable and in case the moderator is continuous in nature. Since we have independent variable which food quality which is continuous in nature, we have to do mean centering to get the results which can be easily interpreted, right? So that is the purpose of mean centering. So that is centered, and Then we go to factors coding. So occupation, we keep it simple. Though there's an option of dummy, but Jamovi handles it automatically, so we remain keeping it at simple option only. Then covariates conditioning, mean plus one minus one standard deviation. So this, in case the moderator is continuous in nature, this will come into play as we saw in the previous video. Since it is categorical, we are compare the groups against the reference group, against the reference category. So this comes into play if we have a continuous moderator. Then we check in at the mean level, mean plus one standard deviation and mean minus one standard deviation of the moderator. What is the effect on the indirect effect in the model? That is mediation effect. How does it affect the mediation effect at different levels of the moderator? So that is what is meant by this. Then I go to mediation options. So in mediation options, it's better to untake beta, which is the standardized coefficient, because we want unstandardized coefficients in moderation, mediation, and moderated mediation. We are looking for unstandardized. In case you have missing values, then you can click on FIML, full information maximum likelihood. I don't have any missing values in the data, so I've clicked on list wise missing values, right? Then we have to go with bootstrap percentile, which is the recommended way to conduct confidence intervals. The latest is bootstrap percentile as prescribed by several academicians and researchers. Interval is 95% and we are going to go with bootstrap repetition 1000, though 5000 is the minimum prescribed. Since it will take a long time to execute, for the purpose of demo I am showing you 1000, but you may go in for 5000 bootstrap repetitions. Then we go to path diagram. In path diagram, I want to click on statistical. So here you have the conceptual diagram. You know this is a conceptual diagram. It's been drawn correctly. So now we can click on statistical diagram, which in which I want to see the coefficients. This is a statistical diagram. These are the settings which need to be done over here. And now you see the model has been estimated. So we see here moderation effects, interaction effect, that is known as moderation effect. So here we are taking the first group, that was first category in occupation, as a reference category. This interaction effect which you see over here is for group 2 because group 1 has been taken as a reference. So this is group 2 versus group 1 and this one is group 3 versus group 1 which has been taken as a reference, right? So here we have an interaction term that is minus 0.492. This means the effect is weaker in group 2 as compared to the reference category group 1. And this minus 0.362 means the effect is weaker as compared to the reference category group 1 for the category 3, that is group 3, right? So that is how you can interpret this thing. And for calculation of index of moderated mediation, let us go to R. So friends, here we are in our R workspace and I have to first load the Lavan package, that is latent variable analysis, which I am going to use. So this is Lavan, which is loaded now. Now I have to import the dataset. I go to import dataset from Excel and I load the file. The file is in my R workspace, the same file customer satisfaction CSV 305 datasheet which I used in Jamovi. So I import this datasheet and the data is now imported. You can see here. Now I'll give a smaller name to this file because it's a big file name so that we can easily use it in the syntax. I take this command and use it in R. So to give it a shorter name, that is df, small df, you see here, small df. Now again, next step is I have to mean center the IV. So independent variable has to be mean centered as it was done in Jamovi. So we are just replicating the Jamovi model in order to get index of moderated mediation computed automatically by R along with the bootstrap confidence interval so that we can assess whether it's significant or not, right? So we have mean centered the independent variable which was continuous in nature. Say, in case we had the moderator also continuous in nature, then we have to mean center the moderator also, as I have shown you in my previous video also, right? Next step is I convert the moderator to factor because it's a categorical variable, right? So we have to specify that it's a categorical variable having 3 categories. I specified it as a factor. It's not a covariate, it's a factor over here, right? Next, I create dummy variables using group 1 as the reference category. So group 1 remains the reference category. There are 3 categories as I told you. So dummy variable has been created and group 2 will be compared against group 1 and group 3 will be compared against group 1, right? Next, we create the interaction term. So interaction term, and then we run the model. So this is the complete script for the model which I want to run. It has details of the first stage moderated path. It has the details of conditional indirect path and reference group and index of moderated mediation which we want. And we want it for group 2 versus group 1, group 3 versus group 1, group 2 versus group 3. So let us take this command in R and run it. So again, I go back, I don't see the results because I have to run it with bootstrapping. So instead of 5000, again I am going to use 1000 so that the process happens faster. Put here 1000 and press enter, right? Next, I want the output with confidence intervals. So I go here and again put the command and execute. Now I want the results to be seen. So finally I put this command parameter estimates with bootstrap percentile and I will get the results. So you see here computation is happening. This is the regression model results which I got. I got the variances, I got the regression coefficients, I got the defined parameters. Now I want the index of moderated mediation, though it's already here present also, but I want it in a clean interface. So I give this second command of parameter estimates and I get, you see here, group 2 versus group 1, group 3 versus group 1 and group 2 versus group 3. Minus 0.219, minus 0.161, minus 0.058. Let us see their bootstrap confidence interval lower and upper limit. So for minus 0.219, you see here the lower confidence interval limit is minus 0.406 and upper is minus 0.100. So 0 does not lie in between. That means it is significant, right? And the p value also tells us the same thing, that it is significant as it is less than 0.05. See, in case of group 3 versus group 1, the p value is 0.057. It's reaching a little bit ahead of 0.05. It should be below 0.05. But we see the confidence intervals, lower confidence interval and upper confidence interval, 0 does not lie in between. So that means this is significant. And the third one, group 2 versus group 3, you see the lower limit is minus 0.250 and the upper confidence limit is 0.119. That means it is insignificant. It means that there is no difference between group 2 and group 3 in terms of index of moderated mediation. So this helps us to test whether the indirect effect is significantly different in group 2 and group 3. So we see here that there is no difference. It is not statistically significant in terms of difference between group 2 and group 3. Right? So although index of moderated mediation 0.058 units lesser than group 3, but it is insignificant as we see from the lower and upper confidence intervals, bootstrap confidence intervals, that 0 is lying in between. You see here minus 0.250 and the upper limit is 0.119. That means it is not statistically significant. The difference of indirect effect between both the groups is not statistically significant. So friends, this is how you can easily take out index of moderated mediation and interpret the results for moderated mediation model. The first stage moderated mediation model while using a categorical variable with 3 groups. I hope the video was quite informative and useful for you, and you will definitely share it with your friends and faculty colleagues. See you next time with some more informative content. Till then, thanks a lot.